Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. So glad you guys could join us once again. For those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad you all could be with us. Going to bring in our friends over on IG so they can be a part of our conversation. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live. And I'm really excited about this next guest. She's a repeat guest that's been with us. She's an award-winning author. She's also a speaker and the co-host of a podcast and show we have on Amazon called Word That Choose to Live By. She also has her own museum. We're going to talk to Tina Siemens again today, and we're now live on the Amazon platform with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button, either here in this corner or down below. And we're gearing up to celebrate 50,000 of you guys over on Amazon next month. So I'm very excited about that. So if you're not following us already, make sure you guys do join so you guys can stay connected with all of our programming. Tina Siemens is back with us today. For those of you who don't know Tina, she's an Amazon best-selling author of 3 books, seminal, Some People Never Give Up. Going to highlight it for you guys over on the Amazon side. Then she has her book, The Little Sandals That Could. You all can see it there. And her newest book is called Post Oak. You all can see it there. I want to talk to Tina not only about her own love of history, but what's been like for her to share for others. She also started the West Texas Living Heritage Museum. I'm going to talk to her about what it's been like for her to celebrate now their second anniversary. And of course, be able to welcome people into it. Tina, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It is always a joy and an honor to share.
Well, Tina, it's always great to have you on. And I was saying to you before we went on here, I'm mindful of the fact that even though I've gotten to know you very well over the past few years, there are some people who are just being able to discover you and the work that you're doing. So I want to go back a little bit. I'm going to highlight again for those on the Amazon side, your first book, Seminole. And I want to begin by asking you, Tina, what has it been like for you to see how you have grown since the release of this first book, but also how the messages you've shared have grown too?
That is a wonderful way of looking in the rear view mirror. It
Mhm.
has been such an amazing journey. Of course, as many of you know, that the book Seminole was supposed to be just a written account for my children and grandchildren and future generations of where our family came from. But then it began to look like chapters. It began to look like a manuscript. And I was encouraged. Let's write a manuscript about it. So it was a 20-year journey for that book because I wanted to have a written account because on my end, I had to search, literally travel to so many areas to connect the dots for my own genealogy and my own family history. So I wanted it as a one-stop shop for my kids and grandkids. And so that's what I did with Seminole. And it has just been from the moment that I decided this is going to be a manuscript till today, the journey is unbelievable, and never would I have thought that this would be the route I'd go. But it was meant to be, and I'm so grateful that I did not let fear keep me from going down this road, because I could have said, no, this is all I want, and be okay with it. But now
Yeah.
it's there, not only for my family, but for people, literally readers around the world,
Yeah.
enjoying this process.
And Tina, for those who are not following you online, I definitely invite you all to make sure you're doing that because it's been amazing for me to watch you from the first book, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up, to the Little Sandals That Could, where you tell more of your own personal story. And now, of course, the book, Post Oak. Do you still have wow moments yourself, Tina, when you think of not only the books you've written, but you've been doing speaking engagements? You have the museum that I mentioned. Do you still have those pinch me moments for yourself?
Well, it happened just as you were mentioning the 3 books uh, at the opening of this show. It's so surreal. Sometimes it feels like, no, it this is not me, but it is. Looking at these stories, looking at those, I remember so well the different decisions that I reached on the covers and on the titles. These are all very real moments in my life, and like the little sandals that could, it was one step at a time. And so it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm just so grateful for every moment that has led up to this moment.
Tina, there are so many people that don't think their own personal family history or that their history, quite frankly, is important and that it matters. What
Mm.
made you realize that it did matter? Initially, I know you wanted it just for your family, but what was it that made you, even for those that are watching, what made you make the decision that, you know what, this is something that needs to be recorded?
Well, we have so many more things in common than we do in different. And
Mhm.
so for me, realizing that what my family journey looked like was also a lot of other families and a lot of other nations have gone through the same similar pathway. The characters might be different, the geographical area might be different, but the common threads of how do I overcome? How do I persevere? What does it look like to immigrate? The world is a turning, revolving door of immigrating from one place to another. All of these situations have similarities. And me and my family's journey is very similar to somebody else's. It might just be in a different background. And
Yeah.
so I just felt like what I learned, what my family went through, somebody else was going through it at the same time. And they could maybe glean from what we went through and possibly avoid some of the downfalls. And so my aim was to just have that as a lesson to somebody else that was going through it or had gone through it.
Right. You know, one of the words that you've used to describe yourself, and I think you may have even said it was given to you, Tina, was being a bridge. That in itself is such a powerful thing, but it also
Yeah.
comes with a lot of responsibility. Has that been easy for you to embrace that you have become a bridge to so many when it comes to connecting communities, but also opening up dialogue with people?
It is not an easy thing to be a bridge, but it brings so much joy and so much satisfaction when you see people coming from both sides. If you envision a river or a low point where there is a bridge needed to get to the other side, being a bridge is both a huge responsibility, but with it brings such joy. When you see people meeting on the bridge, meeting halfway, or they cross path with each other and they think, if they've come from there, then maybe where I'm going is not so scary. So being that physical bridge uh, of encouragement, or I understand where you're coming from, or I understand what you're going through, is just absolutely something that I don't take lightly. And when the Comanche Nation, the Parker family, gave me that native name, Puiai Posakani, meaning a bridge, it was an honor. And also, I did not take it lightly because it is a responsibility. I am to make sure that that bridge does not have tripping hazards or does not have missing planks on it, to where
Yeah.
a smooth transition or crossover can be achieved by those who seek it.
Right.
And so I feel like I am honored and also humbled to be called to be a Brit.
Yeah. And it's, as you mentioned, it's not easy. And for our audience out there watching, they should know that too. Zena, hello to you over there on IG. Glad to be able to have you. Harold Pfeiffer is joining us over there. One of our CMG family members joining us on IG. Wolf, Chief, good to be able to see you over there on IG as well. For those of you over on Amazon, appreciate you, and on YouTube too. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon, but we are simulcasting it across social media. Tina Siemens is our guest for this segment. We're talking to Tina not only about her journey as a three-time Amazon award winning author. She's also a speaker. And she also has started her own museum to celebrate another anniversary this summer, the West Texas Living Heritage Museum. So, talk to us about that, Tina, because I've been seeing the great pictures. You had some homeschool students, I think, that recently visited too. You've had so much foot traffic this year in the museum. What has that experience been like for you to see when it comes to the growth?
Well, I was thinking about it this morning. As I was preparing and in prayer for this segment of just the different people. Had I not decided to just follow and start with where what I had,
Hmm.
instead of waiting, hoping that I would one day have the 40 acres in West Texas that I yearned for to open this museum for so many years, I was at a spot where I said, I'm just going to start with what I have. And the blessings that I would have foregone had I not made that one decision to open the museum in 2023. The people that have walked through the door, the encouragement that I've received from their journey, but also me being able to share not only uh, what history has taught us, but to be the living history that is in my title, the West Texas Living Heritage Museum, to doing the classes, to being hands on, and
Mhm.
to seeing the homeschool students make their own butter in a mason jar with from heavy whipping cream and then spreading it on a piece of bread. I had a 14-year-old tell me, this is the best butter that I've ever tasted. And it was
Wow.
literally just a few moments of me saying, this is a possibility.
Yeah.
You can do this. And so for me to be able to see and witness the people coming through the front door, each and every one brings a unique aspect and privilege into the museum.
Yeah, I love that. And we're going to let our audience know how they can stay connected. Tina, I want to go to your newest book, Post Oak, and talk about something that is more timely, I think, than ever before. And that is, not all history is attractive, not all history is pleasant, but I'm a firm believer, and I think you share this with me, that all history is necessary to know. How did that play into your writing the book Post Oak? And you mentioned earlier about the Parkers who play a prominent role in this book. How did the writing of Post Oak, how did that book change you?
It made me realize that even though there is dark places in our history, we can learn from those. And
Mhm.
if we know them, it will help us avoid to making the same mistakes again. And so
Mhm.
for us to know history is to avoid and learn from it, to make better choices for the coming days. And I think that is primarily why we can look into history, is to make it a lesson not only for me personally, but as a nation, as a country, as the world, because
Yeah.
every part of this world has a history from the beginning of creation. There has been dark places in our history, and if
Mhm.
we fail to learn from that, then we are doomed to repeat it. And
Yeah.
so I always say, let's repeat the good, multiply it, but let's also talk about the not so good, the
Yeah.
dark chapters that are in our history, because
Mhm.
they were there because choices were made. I heard an
Right.
interview last week that said we are only 10 bad choices away from murder. And that's
Mm.
a really big statement. But
Yeah.
if we allow ourselves to go down a pathway that will lead from one mistake to another, and we all of a sudden feel like, I don't amount to anything, I
Hmm.
am just destined to doing the wrong, then we are going to go down that pathway of doing wrong. But it's a choice. Every human being has a choice to make. And
Yeah.
so that is the beauty of knowing history, is to make that a better choice for the future.
Such a great point. Tina, I want to commend you about something, and Tina didn't know I was going to say this. You have had quite the year, and a lot of it, most people don't even know happened. You've been a part of some important conversations, you've been a part of connecting people together. And I just want to commend you for one, making yourself available. You know, I've been dealing with that myself, the challenges of that and the responsibilities that can come with having a platform the way that you do. But what would you say to other people about doing it afraid? Because I think you're a great example, as I try to be, about it doesn't mean you don't have fear. I mean, I talk about my fear quite a bit. Just did a whole video on it last week. But what would you say to people about the importance of doing it afraid when it comes to pursuing their purpose?
If we do something afraid, if we know that the end goal is going to be worth it, then our focus is going to literally be our driving factor, the
Mhm.
thing that pushes us forward. And I know we've heard the statement saying that if we are pointing in the right direction, acceleration is not a bad thing. because we are so driven, because we know who we are and whose we are, and for what things we do are what we do on a daily basis. That goal, that revelation of that's my end goal, and I am going to go get that. I am not going to be stopped, not distracted from what my goal is. So that little bit of fear, no matter what comes, I'm reminded of Peter when he was called by Jesus to step out of the boat and come and walk on the water. He said, come. And he stepped out. As long as he kept his eye on the goal, he did not sink. As soon as he watched the waves crashing on either side, he started sinking. And that's what we need to do. Is our goal is supposed to be the driving force on every day's decision, even though we do it scared sometimes. We don't know all the details that would happen, but knowing that we have something that's worth fighting for, or the message that's worth carrying, will propel us. And I'm just so grateful that some of the things I cannot and don't want to publicly announce, but I know that this is the goal that God has for me. This is the route that He has chosen for me. And for me to be diligent and faithful in doing that, then the end will be His will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah. And you bring up a point that I'm a firm believer in, Tina, and that is not everything has to be publicized, right? We live in a time, you and I are both live in this industry where so much of what we do is shared, that's fine. But there are certain things that don't have to get that kind of attention. It goes to, for one, the motive of doing it, which your motive is pure, but also the fact that knowing that sometimes you can get the best result when not everyone is involved in
Exactly.
everything. So
Exactly.
I totally do that. Totally believe that. I want to talk about one more thing for you, Tina, before we wrap up. And I love this conversation for those who are just being introduced to you. We have over 500 right now joining us on Amazon, which I appreciate you all being with us over there. And as I mentioned before, if you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, we've picked up a lot of new followers. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button to stay connected with all of our programming. You'll see it here in this corner or down below. But Tina, on the back of Seminole, it says in November 2015, Tina had the great honor of being named Citizen of the Year of Seminole, Texas. We're coming up on a decade, Tina, since that
Mm.
happened. What was that honor like for you, and what are you looking forward to as we're wrapping up this year?
Wow, that was a moment I would have never guessed would happen in my life. But it gave me confidence that the things, even though I didn't have a college education. I did not have the platform that I could have gotten had I had the opportunity to go to college when I did take some college courses, but not a graduate, not didn't have my doctorate degree. But to
Right.
know that my efforts were still acknowledged, and most of all, it was such an honor of saying, yes, I can do the impossible in a land that I immigrated to as an 8-year-old, not even speaking the language. That these possibilities are able if you're willing to do the work. And so for me to have received that was just a stamp of approval, like, yes, you're on the right path. Just keep going, keep moving forward. And that's why we're here today. It's
Right.
and sometimes these awards or these acknowledgments is not just for me, but also for others, that will be an encouragement to them, that if they do one step at a time, they can achieve much.
Exactly. An indoor garden. Hello to you. Good to be able to see you over there on IG. Such a great reminder. So Tina, how let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you and keep up with what's coming up?
Well, I am on all social media platforms as Tina Siemens, and my museum is the West Texas Living Heritage Museum. So reach out to me on either one of those platforms, and I'm looking forward to being in touch with you.
And also, as I mentioned, Tina is one of the co-hosts of our weekly show on Amazon, but we also simulcasted Word That Choose to Live By on Monday. So if you guys are joining us live, you will see Tina again. If you're not, though, you guys will be able to catch us every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. That's 8 a.m. PST. So make sure you guys catch us for your weekly inspiration. Tina, thank you so much for another great conversation. I appreciate the time.
Thank you again for having me and for the opportunity to share. It's always a
Hey,
joy.
it is always a joy for me as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.